Welcome to Cloud Computing series from findit.io. In today's session, we will be installing Oracle VirtualBox and create few virtual machines, configure network and make these virtual machines talk to each other. Okay, let's start. Let's download Oracle VirtualBox. I'm using Windows machine, so I'll be downloading Windows package. And this is the latest version that's available. So let's go ahead and download. Yeah, it's done. Let's start the installation. I'll be using default settings, not going to change much. Nothing much to change here as well. I'll go with C:, the same path. Okay, and I don't need a quick launch bar. I'll remove that. Let's start the installation. Start. It's going to be very quick, hardly a few seconds. That's it, it's done. This is the GUI of Oracle VirtualBox. And here we see options to create virtual machines with several operating system, various operating system. Both 32-bit and 64-bit is enabled here, but if you don't see 64-bit, just make sure that your Hyper-V is not enabled if you are using Windows machine. Maybe you can go to turn on features. Turn Windows features on or off, and make sure your Hyper-V is disabled, because if you have enabled Hyper-V, it's not going to allow you to install a 64-bit operating system. This Hyper-V is type 1 hypervisor, and Oracle VirtualBox is type 2 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor is closer to machine, and type 2 hypervisor runs on an operating system. That's the difference. Let's create the virtual machines now. Click on new. Okay, even before creating the virtual machines, let's create a network adapter that we will be using inside the virtual machines. We'll cancel this, go to File, Preference, Network, and I'm going to create a host only network. It's already created here, but if it's not created, you can click on this plus icon. So if you click on the plus icon, it's going to create another adapter, but I don't need this, so I will just remove this. I will use the one which was already created. So click on this screwdriver icon to see or change the IP addresses. This is the default that is created. I'm going to enable DHCP server as well, and these are the default settings that I have configured. If you want to change the IP addresses, it's up to you. You can change the IP address, and you can change your lower and upper bound. All the virtual machines that I will be creating will have the lower IP address as this, and the higher IP address as this. Most of the time I configure static IP addresses for the virtual machines that I create, so I know to which machine I am interacting with. Click on OK. OK here. So we have the network adapter ready. Now let's create the virtual machine. I'm going to name this as Ubuntu 16.04 is the version that I'm going to install in this virtual machine. 16.04 is the long-term supported version from Ubuntu. Rancher _ server. If you don't know what is Rancher, we will be seeing that in the coming sessions, so don't worry. Just assume this as a name for now. You might have noticed that when I started typing Ubuntu, it automatically picked up Linux as OS type and version. Of course, it's Ubuntu 64-bit. If you are going to install a 32-bit OS, just change this to 32-bit, but I will be installing a 64-bit, so I keep it as is. Click on next. By default, 1 GB RAM is allocated. I'm going to increase this to 2 GB. Since I have 16 GB RAM, it's not a big problem for me. But if you have a limited RAM, you have to play it within the limits. Click on next. I'm going to create a virtual hard disk now. And it's going to be 10 GB. That's the recommended size, so I will keep as is. Create. I will create a VirtualBox disk image, which is a default and which is very specific to Oracle VM VirtualBox. It all depends on how you are going to access this disk later. If you will be using a VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox all the time, you can keep VDI as the default disk image. But if you are going to access through other means, then it's better you select either VHD or VMDK. So it depends on like how you want to access it and from where you want to access it. But I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to keep this as a VirtualBox disk image for now. Next, I'm going to select a fixed size. Though I have an SSD, still I would like to keep my hard disk sizes fixed for the virtual machines. If you have a hard disk which is not an SSD, of course, then definitely you have to go for a fixed size, or else your virtual machine is going to have a performance problem if you are going to extensively use the virtual machine, or else it doesn't make any issue. Also, in the dynamically allocated, it automatically increases the size, but it doesn't shrink, so you have to be careful. When you keep on increasing the disk size, you might want to have a check when you reduce the size of the disk. Okay, click on next. Okay, it's going to create the disk now. It might take some time depending on your processor speed and RAM. This is the configuration of the virtual machine we created just now. Here we see only one network adapter, that is by default it's configured. This network adapter is a virtual adapter of the host network adapter, which is my actual machine where I installed this VirtualBox. I will keep this network adapter as is because I will be using this to access internet within the virtual machine. Of course, we don't see the second adapter or the host only network adapter that we created here. We have to add that manually. So click on this machine, right click on the machine, click on settings, network. Here we see the default network adapter that is enabled. So we will leave as is because I'm going to use that. Click on adapter 2, enable the network adapter here, attach to, select the option as host only network adapter because we have created the adapter of type host only network adapter. By default it picked up the name that we created, and click on OK. Now we see the second adapter getting added to the list of network adapters. We will use this to configure static IP to virtual machines so that we can make the multiple virtual machines connect to each other or talk to each other. That's it. We have the virtual machine configuration ready. In the next video, we will see how to install Ubuntu operating system in this virtual machine. Thank you.